Hi, an important thing about being a CIS major or a CIS minor is being able to work on projects. And an aspect of that is being able to use software to help you manage a project. And in this class, CIS 3001 Managing with AI, the software you're going to learn to use this semester is called Smartsheet. It is purely cloud-based, which means you can use it over the internet, whether you have a PC or Mac. And that's particularly important because some software will only run on Windows. Fortunately, this you can use no matter what software you're using. It is not just important to get exposure to this software for this class. When you do your capstone project, if you take the capstone class as opposed to an internship, you will be working on a project, and a lot of the clients are insisting that you use software such as Smartsheet to manage the project. So what you're learning now is an important competence that we expect you to have by the time you're done with this class. It is also something you will be using with a high degree of likelihood in a future class. Now, our Managing with AI class is very, very full of very important information that today's information systems major is supposed to know and be able to do in order to get a job, to get an internship, and to succeed once you're in the workforce. Because of that, you will learn to use Smartsheet outside of class time. Now, to help you with that, you will be doing a LinkedIn Learning class. The class has a little more than an hour and a half worth of videos, but you actually need to go through and follow the videos and actually do what they're doing in the video in Smartsheet. When you're done, you will get a certificate. You will need to submit that certificate to iCollege, but you will also need to submit some screenshots that actually show that you've been doing the work along the way. Now, you can log into LinkedIn Learning. There will be a link in iCollege. You sign in with your Georgia State credentials, and then you will need to find this particular course in LinkedIn Learning. The link to LinkedIn Learning will be in iCollege, and once you log in using your Georgia State credentials, simply type Smartsheet Essential Training. I suggest using quotation marks so that you get less results that are not what you're looking for. And as you can see, it may not be at the top. What you are looking for is not Microsoft Planner, not Power BI. It is specifically Smartsheet Essential Training. It is 1 hour, 37 minutes long. However, keep in mind, this is probably going to take you between 4 and 5 hours to actually complete this course because you need to go through and do, using Smartsheet, what they're showing you how to do in the video. And so when we open it up, you will watch all the videos, and then along the way, as you can see, I have already done it. I wanted to make sure that this was a good exercise for you to do in order to learn Smartsheet. Now, there will be certain things you need to do at the end of each of these chapters, working with sheets, formulas, forms, and sharing. At the end, you will get a certificate. You need to submit the certificate, but you also need to submit other things so that I know that you indeed were going along and doing the exercises that are in the class and not just watching the videos. So what I need you to do for the first chapter, which is working with sheets, this is very important. You will load up your sheets. And so these are the that I was doing along with the videos. What you will need to do is select Grid View. This is your view button, but you'll know that by the time you get here. You need to click on the person so that we can see that it is your account, your email address. Make sure that is clear. And then you will do a screenshot of your entire screen. So this is my screenshot. Make sure that you can read your email address here. which I can, GSU, and then you are going to save it. Save it as a JPEG. Do not save it as some other file type. Put your last name and then type in grid view and save it as that. Then you need to go to card view. Same thing. Do a screenshot. Again, make sure we can read your name. I'm going to zoom in, and you can see that it's GSU. And then again, we will save this as a JPEG, not as another format. Just save it as your last name dash card view. And you will need to submit both the grid view and the card view files along with your certificate in order to get credit for this assignment. For the second chapter of the LinkedIn Learning class, which is formulas and formatting, you will take one screenshot after you have completed create formulas, work with percentages, and apply conditional formatting rules. Let me show you. So this is what you will have created. You will have added rows. You will have added New York, US cities. You will have added information. You'll have changed the value for Boston. You will have created formulas to total things up and to calculate the percentages. You also will have done some conditional formatting, but you will have disabled it as they instruct you in the video. So you will need to enable it so that we have the correct, which is Los Angeles and Dallas, their totals being highlighted. Then you will click on the little person icon, make sure that your name is readable, and then you will do a screenshot. So when you have your screenshot, make sure that your email address is easy to read. Make sure that we can see that you did the work. And then we are going to save it as a JPEG picture, not some other file format. Put your name, dash, formulas, and formatting. And then you will go ahead and save that. And you will submit this to iCollege along with your certificate. The final screenshot you need to take, save, and submit along with the certificate and the other screenshots is going to be about creating a form. And so you already will have filled out a form as part of the LinkedIn Learning class. And so what you want to do is go to Forms, Manage Forms. You want to go back to the actual form. And then you want to go to Open Form. And so this is what your form looks like. And so what you're going to do is type in your first and last name. You're going to do a screenshot. You want to make sure that this is readable and that we can read your name. And then you're going to save it again as a JPEG, not as some other file format. And then you're going to put your last name. And then you're going to say form. And you're going to save that. And then you are going to finish the course, which includes another lesson, but I'm not having you do a screenshot for that. You will submit the certificate that you will get from LinkedIn Learning. Your full name, your first and last name need to be on the PDF of that certificate. Do not turn it in without your name on that certificate. LinkedIn Learning will print your name on it once you complete the course. And what you will do is you will turn in that certificate. You will turn in the JPEG of the grid exercise, where we can see that it is your work, from the card exercise, the one from the formulas exercise. All of those, we will be able to see your email address so that we know that you have indeed been doing the work along with the videos. You will turn in the form which has your name in the form. And so you will turn in 5 files: the certificate, the image of the grid, the image of the cards, the image of the formulas and percentages and conditional formatting, that's 1 file, and then the form. And so that is the 5 files.